Open your oven door and look at the bottom of it. The black, baked-on crust, the burnt drips and spatters of 100 meals charred hard onto the floor and the walls and the racks, smoking a little every time you bake. Most folks dread cleaning it so much they put it off for a year and then finally reach for a can of oven cleaner, the kind you spray on in a cloud of harsh fumes that makes you open every window and hold your breath, that burns your skin if it touches you, all to eat away that crust. I am going to show you today how to clean your oven, even a badly baked on one, with nothing but baking soda, water, and a little vinegar. No choking fumes, no burning chemicals, no expensive can, for pennies, and leave it clean and sweet. And the reason this gentle old way is not on every shelf is that there is good money in a can of harsh chemicals that people are frightened enough of the job to keep buying. Here is the truth about that baked-on oven crust that the spray can would rather not dwell on. It is mostly burnt-on grease and food, fats and sugars and spatters that the heat charred hard and black onto the surface. And the thing about that kind of greasy, baked-on grime is that it does not need a violent, caustic poison to remove it. It needs to be softened and lifted, and a paste of plain baking soda and water, given a little time to sit and do its work, softens and loosens it beautifully, so it scrubs and wipes away. The harsh spray-on cleaner is sold as the only thing strong enough for the job, but it is not. It is simply faster and more violent, and the violence is what makes the fumes and the danger. The gentle baking soda paste does the same work with a little more time and no harm at all. That is the whole secret. Baked-on grease wants softening and patience, not poison, which is exactly the kind of thing that does not come in a profitable can. My name is Eli Zook. I am Amish, and I farm here in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, and we keep our ovens and our cook stoves clean the old way, with the plain things from the kitchen, as our mothers and grandmothers did. There were no cans of chemical oven spray in the old farmhouse kitchens, and there was no need of them. Baking soda, water, a little vinegar, a stiff brush, and some patience kept the oven clean and sweet, and they keep ours clean still. It is one of the most dreaded chores in the house turned into one of the simplest and safest, and I am going to give you the whole of it today. I am going to show you the baking soda paste method, step by step, for a badly baked on oven, and the easier upkeep for one that is only a little dirty, and how to do the racks and the glass door besides. I am going to be honest and very plain about the safety, because there is a real warning about oven cleaners and fumes that I will not skip. And there is one thing, one part of the method that almost everyone is too impatient for. That is the whole difference between a crust that scrubs away easily and one that fights you. And it costs no effort at all, only time. Stay for that part especially. Here is what you need, and it costs almost nothing. You need baking soda, a good amount of it, for a dirty oven uses a fair bit. You need water to make it into a paste. You need vinegar for the finish. You need a stiff brush or a scrubbing pad or sponge, and some cloths or rags for wiping. And a little dish soap helps on the racks. Baking soda, water, vinegar, a brush, and some rags. That is the whole kit, costing pennies, against a can of chemical spray at several dollars, and none of the fumes or the danger. Now here is that one part of the method that everyone is too impatient for, the thing that makes the whole job easy, so hear it well. You must let the baking soda paste sit on the crust for hours, and overnight is best before you scrub. Here is why. The baking soda paste does not blast the grease off on contact the way the harsh chemical does. It works gently, softening and loosening the baked-on grime over time as it sits in contact with it. Give it only a few minutes and it has barely begun, and you will scrub yourself raw for little result and conclude the gentle way does not work. Give it hours, spread it on in the evening and leave it overnight, and by morning that hard black crust has been softened and loosened right down to the surface, and it scrubs and wipes away with ease. The patience is the whole trick. The chemical can sells itself on being fast, but you are not in a hurry. You can spread the paste and walk away and let time do the scrubbing for you while you sleep. Slow and patient beats fast and violent, and it costs you no labor at all, only the waiting. So here is the method, step by step, for a badly baked-on oven. First, take out the racks. Those you do separately. Make your paste, stir baking soda with a little water until you have a spreadable paste, thick but spreadable, and you will want a good bowlful for a dirty oven. Now, spread that paste all over the inside of the oven, the bottom, the walls, the top, wherever there is baked-on grime, coating it well, but keeping it away from the bare heating elements and the fan opening and any vents. Cover the dirty surfaces and avoid the workings. The paste will turn brownish as it sits on the grime. Now, leave it. For hours, overnight is best. Then, come back, and with a damp cloth or a scrubbing pad, wipe and scrub it all off. The softened crust comes away with the paste. For any stubborn spots, scrub with a little more paste. Then, here is the finishing touch. Wipe or lightly spray a little vinegar over the surface, and it will foam gently where it meets the leftover baking soda, and this helps lift the last residue and leaves the surface clean. Wipe it all down with a clean, damp cloth until no paste remains, and you are done. Paste it, leave it overnight, scrub it off, finish with vinegar, wipe clean. Now the racks and the door. The oven racks, with their baked-on grease, you can soak. Lay them in a tub or a deep sink in hot water with a good amount of dish soap and a cup of vinegar, or smear them with the baking soda paste and let them soak for hours. Then the grime scrubs off with a brush. For the glass in the oven door, the same baking soda paste spread on, left to sit, and scrubbed and wiped clears the baked-on film, and a vinegar wipe leaves the glass clear. The whole oven, inside and racks and glass, comes clean with the same cheap paste and a little patience. No part of it needs the can. Now I must be honest and very plain about the safety, because this matters most of all. First and above everything, never mix cleaners. And I say this especially because if you have ever used a chemical oven cleaner or any other cleaner, do not go spraying vinegar or other things on top of the residue, and never, ever mix anything with bleach. Vinegar and bleach together and certain other mixes make poison gases that can badly harm your lungs. The baking soda and vinegar I have given you are safe together. They only foam harmlessly, but keep all other chemicals out of it entirely. Second, if you do use a commercial oven cleaner despite my urging otherwise, those caustic sprays burn skin and eyes and give off harsh fumes, so they want gloves, eye protection, wide open windows and air, and great care, which is the very trouble the baking soda way spares you. Third, when you spread the paste, keep it off the bare heating elements, the gas burner ports, the fan and the vents. Clean the surfaces, not the workings, and wipe away all paste residue before you next heat the oven, and let it dry so nothing smokes or fouls the elements. And mind a hot oven and let it cool fully before you clean. Never mix cleaners, keep the paste off the workings, wipe it all clean before heating, and let it cool first. Keep to that, and this is as safe a cleaning as there is in the house. Now let me give you the deeper part, the upkeep, because a little regular care means you never face that dreaded baked-on crust at all. The reason ovens get so terribly bad is that folks let a year of spills char and build into a hard black crust. Catch it sooner, and it is nothing. So wipe up spills when they happen, once the oven has cooled, before they bake on again and again into hardness. Lay a sheet of foil or a tray on the rack beneath a dish that might bubble over to catch the drips before they hit the oven floor. And give the oven a quick light cleaning now and then, a thin paste, a short sit, a wipe, to keep the grease from ever building into a crust. An oven kept after lightly never needs the long overnight treatment. It is only the long neglected one that does. As with so much in the house, a little and often spares you the great battle. And keep your stovetop and your cookware clean the same gentle way. Baking soda paste lifts the baked-on grime from pots and pans and the stovetop too. Let me give you the troubleshooting. If the crust did not come off, you did not leave the paste on long enough. Give it longer, overnight, and a thicker coat, for time is the whole of it. If a spot stubbornly clings, paste it again and let it sit again, and scrub with a stiffer brush. If there is a hazy white residue left after, that is leftover baking soda. The vinegar wipe and more clean damp wiping clears it. If your oven smoked the next time you used it, you left paste residue behind. Wipe it more thoroughly next time before heating. If the racks would not come clean, they wanted a longer soak in hot soapy water with vinegar. Nearly every trouble comes back to not enough time or not enough rinsing, and both are easily set right. Patience on the front end, thorough wiping on the back end, and the oven comes clean. Let me say a word more about the fumes and the air in your home, because it is part of why we keep to the old way. The harsh chemical oven cleaners give off strong caustic fumes, that sharp smell that drives you to open every window and leave the room. And those fumes are no good for your lungs, nor for children or anyone with a tender chest, and they linger. There is a real comfort in cleaning your oven with nothing but baking soda and vinegar, with the windows shut if you like, with the children about, with no need to hold your breath or wear gloves against a burn. The old way is not only cheaper, it is cleaner in the truest sense. It puts no poison into the air of your home and onto the surfaces your food will touch. That is worth something the can never offer, however fast it works. Let me say more about why baking soda works on this kind of grime, because understanding it makes you trust the method and use it well. Baking soda is a mild alkali, a gentle base, and grease and baked-on food are exactly the kind of soil that an alkali loosens and breaks down. That is the same reason soap, which is alkaline, cuts grease. So when you lay a damp paste of it over the burnt-on grease and leave it in contact, it slowly works against the grease, softening the bond that holds the crust to the metal, while the gritty texture of the soda gives a gentle scouring when you finally scrub. It is mild enough to handle barehanded and to use around food, yet given time, it does the same loosening work as the violent chemical, just gently and slowly. And the vinegar at the end, being a mild acid, reacts with the leftover alkaline soda to foam and help carry away the last residue and leaves the surface fresh. There is no mystery and no harsh chemistry in it, just a mild alkali, a little grit, some time, and a finishing acid, all of it safe in your kitchen. Knowing that, you can reach for the baking soda with confidence against any baked-on grease in the house. Let me give you the gentler everyday version too, for an oven that is only moderately dirty, since not every oven needs the full overnight treatment. For light to middling grime, you can make a thinner paste, spread it on, and leave it just an hour or two rather than overnight. Then scrub and wipe. The same method, simply less time for a lighter soil. Or, for a quick freshen, sprinkle dry baking soda over a damp oven floor, spritz it lightly to dampen, let it sit a while, and wipe. The dirtier the oven, the thicker the paste, and the longer the wait. The cleaner it is, the quicker the job. This is the beauty of the method. It scales to the need, from a 5-minute freshen to an overnight rescue of a long neglected oven, all with the same one cheap ingredient and no change of tools or risk. Let me speak more on the upkeep habits because they are what keep oven cleaning from ever being a dreaded chore again. The whole misery of the baked-on oven comes from neglect, a spill left to char, then baked over and over until it is black rock. Break that cycle, and the chore nearly vanishes. Keep a close eye when you bake something likely to bubble over, a pie, a casserole, a roast, and slide a tray or a sheet of foil on the rack beneath to catch the drips before they ever reach the oven floor. When a spill does happen, once the oven has cooled, wipe it up then and there before it bakes on again. Give the oven a quick light paste and wipe every so often, not waiting for the crust to build. Do these small things, and you will never again face the year-old black crust that needs an overnight rescue. Your oven will simply stay clean with a few minutes of care here and there. A little and often, as in all the housekeeping, spares you the great dreaded battle entirely. And it is the great battle, not the cleaning itself, that sends folks reaching for the frightening can. And let me leave you this plain reckoning. The harsh can costs several dollars and brings fumes and danger into your home for a job done once or twice a year. A box of baking soda costs little, lasts for many cleanings, serves a dozen other uses about the house, and brings no harm at all. The only thing the can truly offers over the box is speed. And speed bought with fumes and caustic burns is a poor bargain when a night's patient waiting costs you nothing and harms nothing. Reckon it honestly, and the box wins every way that matters. Now I want to take a moment because this is the part that matters. Think about who profits from the dread of your dirty oven. There is a can of oven cleaner sold for several dollars, harsh and caustic and full of fumes, bought because the job is so dreaded and people believe nothing gentler is strong enough. And that belief is the whole of the sale. There is no money in telling a person that a bowl of baking soda paste, spread on and left overnight, will soften that same baked-on crust to where it wipes away for pennies, with no fumes and no burns and no danger. The whole little trade runs on fear of the job and on people not knowing that burnt-on grease wants only softening and patience, not poison. They did not invent a cleaner that does what baking soda cannot. They sold us a fast, violent, frightening one and let the gentle old way, the way every farmhouse kitchen kept its oven before there was a can, slip quietly out of memory because there is no profit in baking soda and time. So here is what I want you to do the next time your oven needs cleaning. Do not buy the can. Stir up a bowl of baking soda and water into a paste, spread it thick over the baked-on grime, and walk away and leave it overnight. In the morning, scrub and wipe it off, finish with a little vinegar, and wipe it clean. Then stand back and look at your clean oven and reckon what it cost you, pennies and no fumes and no burns, against the dreaded can. Once you have cleaned your oven this gentle way one time, you will never buy the harsh spray again. Tell me in the comments below. How long do you put off cleaning your oven, and what have you used on it? And did your mother or grandmother keep the oven clean with baking soda the old way? I read every single one of these, and the old household ways you all share are the reason I keep doing this. Next time, I am going to show you how this house brings a tarnished old piece of silver, brass, or copper back to a bright shine with simple things from the kitchen. No costly polish, no harsh chemicals. It is the next dreaded cleaning job made simple. Until then, use the paste and the patience. Never mix your cleaners. Keep the oven wiped as you go. And remember the people who built this country with their hands, new things we are only just starting to remember.